Hi, I'm Barry Simon. Welcome to another exciting episode of Conversations for Peace. Thank you for coming back to our episodes, and thank you for the feedback you've been providing to us to make our episodes more useful and interesting to you. Our commitment is to bring you conversations of peace from different people around the world. And we recently visited the United Nations and interviewed several people there. Our last episode included some women from the first Muslim sorority in the U.S. And today we'll hear a little bit from Dr. Judy Kuriansky, a noted psychologist, professor at Columbia University. Also, she's a well-known author and lecturer and has been the recipient of several awards from the UN for her work with the Psychology Association and other NGOs promoting peace and understanding in the world. So let's hear a little bit of what Dr. Kuriansky has to say. So here we are at the UN at the Global Engagement Summit, and please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm used to being at the UN for years because I run two NGOs at the United Nations. I'm Dr. Judy Kuriansky. I'm a professor of psychology at Columbia. I'm very involved in the UN in advocating about mental health and well-being, and got it into the Sustainable Development Goals with the Ambassador Palau. And I've been very involved in the peace movement for many years. And as I have often lectured about, you have to have peace within in order to create peace between people, and then peace amongst people. That's how it grows in spherical dimensions. And I've spent a lot of time working on Middle East peace and written 2 books about it, Terror in the Holy Land, inside the anguish of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and Beyond Bullets and Bombs, which is grassroots peace building between Palestinians and Israelis, because when people are working together, doing videos together, doing plays, breaking bread together, doing trekking across the Sahara. When you work together, psychology shows that you cannot hate the other. You learn to work together and enjoy each other and appreciate each other. That is the psychological principle behind peace, and we all want the same thing basically, which is feeling good about ourselves, having a better life and a better life for our children. I have a band called the Stand Up for Peace Project. We have played for the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu at the first International Peace Festival in Hiroshima, Japan, in front of thousands of Japanese people celebrating peace. We sing our music, Stand Up for Peace song, stand up for peace today, and we're gonna show the way.
Stand up for peace, stand up for peace, stand up for peace.
And we write songs about interfaith harmony. Your faith, my faith, our faith, one in faith. His faith, her faith, our faith, one in faith. We just debuted that at the United Nations at the World Interfaith Harmony Week. So peace means a lot to me. It obviously means a lot to Barry doing his show, bless him. And it obviously means a lot to you because you're watching this, so bless you.
So what would be possible if people had a better sense of each other, instead of the stereotypes running the show and preconceived notions being etched in stone? What would be possible if people had more understanding of each other? What would that make available in their actual day-to-day lives?
Well, I think if we gave up all the anguish towards the other and separating ourselves, then we would be able to come together to work on the things that really matter. And those things that really matter are exactly why we're here at the UN. Those are the Sustainable Development Goals. That means we would have more time and more energy together to work on ending poverty and ending hunger in the world. Aren't those more important than hating each other? Mm-hmm. The Sustainable Development Goal number 16 is about peace and peaceful societies. And so if we had that, we'd be able to respect one another. We'd have better health systems. We'd be able to deal with the disasters that go on in the world. I do a lot of work about that. I'm there right after the hurricanes, the earthquakes. We would be working together to rebuild our societies and help people overcome their traumas instead of creating more trauma. That's what.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much for your time today. It's an honor and a real surprise and privilege. You know, they say there's no accidents. It just is really great to meet with you today. Any thoughts you'd like to share? Final comments?
Well, we need everybody to watch what you are promoting, because the more that we hear about peace and love, it is not just a statement of the 60s. It is for our time now. So thank you, Barry.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. So when I turned around after interviewing Dr. Kuryansky, I met a lovely young woman, Nicolette, who had some very useful thoughts to share about what it would be for her generation if people could get along better everywhere.
Hi, I'm Nicolette Templier. I'm your Miss Brooklyn Earth 2018. I'm with the Miss Earth USA pageant, which is all about sustainability, saving the environment, and making sure that we are all aware of our impact on the world.
So what would be possible if if all people, black, white, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, etc., could get along? What would that make available on the planet?
What would that make available?
In people's lives.
I think that would make that would create the space, and that would create the capacity for us to actually address major issues without all of the cloudiness that comes with prejudice and discrimination and all the other issues that really just cloud our judgment. I think if we were to let all that go, and I believe that that comes with self-acceptance, because once you accept yourself, you can accept someone else for their flaws and who they are as a person. Once you have that down, any discussion is much easier, and any problem is much easier to solve, because then we have a common ground. So, self-love.
Self-love and communication.
And communication,
and
yes.
We're all the same.
That's it. You're a human, I'm a human. That's all it's
Discovering
about.
our similarities.
That's it.
Versus pointing out
That's it.
our
And
differences.
emphasizing our differences, but on a positive level.
Right.
Not to cut each other down.
Appreciating our uniqueness.
Uniqueness is just a new perspective. So that's what I
Awesome.
believe.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
I love this project. You know, as Nicolette was saying, you know, all we really need to do is talk to each other, appreciate each other, and appreciate our uniqueness. And instead of focusing on differences as negatives, focusing on our uniqueness, our differences as positives. And, you know, if I could appreciate more the beauty of other cultures, how does that, you know, translate for me in opening up my mind and expanding my view of a world that is so expansive and wonderful. So I really appreciate Nicolette's comments. And it's funny because there I was in New York City at the UN. And later that day, I was walking over by Times Square and Grand Central Station. And I came across a young fellow handing out CDs of his music. And we had a spontaneous conversation. And I think you'll appreciate what he has to say.
You know, how can you appreciate light with no darkness? So when you meet good people, when you can set up a deal or have a conversation or even break bread with somebody from a whole nother part of life, a whole nother culture, you get that much more wisdom and understanding. When you pass judgment and you stay in your bubble in life and you think that your reality is the only reality, you get that much shorter of the great things that the universe has to offer, that the world has to offer. So sometimes you gotta incline your ear to people in all types of different walks of life. You know, what would life be without that Indian dish samosa, or, you know, our spaghetti, you know, our pretzels, you know what I mean? Like French toast, crepes. So this is a melting pot of all types of different culture, man. And you know, if you short yourself for that, you don't get the full life, you don't get the fullness of life. That's it.
So what would be one action that you think could be taken either politically and by governments or just by everybody people on the streets that would make that more possible?
What Barry is doing right now is definitely the key. Look at me. Barry looks nothing like me and Barry are almost physically the complete opposite. You know, I'm a little younger. You know, he's a little lighter than me. But look, we were able to meet on this ground right here. So I commend Barry, the producer, the man behind the camera, for getting things like this done, because this is the actions that need to take place. People need to be able to communicate with one another.
Exactly. Awesome. All right, man. Thanks very much.
Peace.
Cool. So I really love what everyone on this episode had to say, whether we're talking about Dr. Kuryansky's comments or the young lady, the Miss Brooklyn Earth, or the gentleman from the streets of Manhattan. I really appreciate all of them expressing the need to connect with strangers. So I invite all of you to go out into your life and talk to somebody at the grocery, wave to somebody in the car next to you, create a conversation with somebody in an elevator that you wouldn't necessarily talk to before. Say hello, be an opening for connection, be an opening for understanding and appreciation of the other. And gradually, hopefully not so gradually, but hopefully rather quickly, the idea of another will disappear, and we'll increasingly recognize that we're all the same, basically, no matter where we are, no matter where we live, no matter our stage in life, looking to get by and make it through each day with peace and harmony for ourselves and our families and our loved ones and for everyone else on the planet. So it's been great to have the comments we've had today. And as we go forward, we'll hear from other people about a variety of issues, and whether it be involving the climate crisis, empowerment of women, eliminating hunger and starvation, and promoting a clean environment. How can Conversations for Peace empower that? How can Conversations for Peace lead to the furthering of the fulfillment of those goals? Those what we call the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So thanks for tuning in. I welcome your comments, your feedback via email or voice or video to conversationsforpeace@gmail.com, or visit the website, conversationsforpeace.com, and look us up on YouTube as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Stand up for peace on earth. Yes, we're gonna find the way. Stand up for peace on earth, and we're gonna start today. Stand up for peace on earth. Yes, we're gonna find the way. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Peace today. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Peace today. Stand up for peace. Stand up for peace. Stand up.